it's another great day. Hey, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I want to welcome you to the Jolly Good News Report for this day, which is May the 2nd, 2020. Yesterday was May Day, and for those who don't know what May Day was created to signify, it was originally thought to be the day of the first day where you celebrate spring. So you would have May Day, and when I was growing up, you would have a maypole, and people would have a ribbon, and you go under and over and under over. And you have this ribbon. Now I mentioned that to my assistant, who is, she's a, I guess she's a not quite a millennial. She's a Generation X, I guess. I don't know, but whatever. She's in her 40s. She said, "What? Maypole? Mayday? What?" She said, "I had no idea about that." And she said, "None of the people in her network, but for those of us, how many of y'all remember Mayday?" Yeah. So anyway, yesterday was May Day, and then it became known as International Workers Day. And on my show, Get Up Morning, Wake Up and Win with Dr. Willie Jolley on the Get Up Morning with Erica Campbell every day. Yesterday, I did a special show as well as on my newsletter list. If you're on my newsletter, you get my daily videos that we've started during this coronavirus crisis time. And I did a show about the fact that also International Workers Day, what we do is we're going to celebrate those who are essential workers and thank them, that our police and fire, EMTs, the pharmacists, the people at the grocery store, our trashmen, postal workers, people who have to work and have been serving us during this time when we may have been isolated, we've been in quarantine, or we haven't gone out of our home. They continue to serve us. And I said, celebrate them, thank them for their great work, and just encourage it. And when you do, you'll encourage yourself. Because here's what I've learned over the years, that when you squirt a little perfume on somebody else, you can't help but get a little bit on yourself. Amen. Okay, my jolly good news. I'm starting this every show with a little tidbit, either from one of my books or something that I'm inspired by. This one is from my book, A Setback, A Setup for a Comeback. It's called The Rock'em Sock'em Punching Bag. So when I was a little boy, my brother and I were very rambunctious. So my mom decided that she wanted to make sure that we didn't beat each other up. So she bought us one of those rock'em sock'em punching bags with the weighted base, and you blow it up and you hit it and it bounced back up. It had this kind of smile on its face. And you'd hit it and it bounced back up, and you hit it and it bounced back up. But it always bounced back up with that same old smile on his face. You couldn't keep it down. We took everything we could to try and keep it down. We took bats and balls and everything we could, but it always bounced back up with that smile on his face. Eventually, we got bored with it, and we went and found something else we could tear up, and usually that ended up with us getting our behinds torn up, bam, 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 for what we would mess up. But every now and then, when that rock'em sock'em bop'em punching bag was not expecting it, we would walk up and sneak up on it. And with everything we had, we'd go bam and hit it. And it always bounced back up with that smile on his face. And that's what I want to share, is the lesson we start out today that's from the book. That this situation is like that rock'em sock'em robot, punching bag. That life is going to throw you time when it's going to hit you. But I want you to bounce back up with a smile on your face, and hit you again, but bounce back up with a smile on your face, and it's going to keep hitting you. And eventually, if you keep bouncing up, it's going to get tired and go find something, some wimp it can keep down, and it'll leave you alone for a while. But then when you least expect it, you least expecting, it'll come up out of nowhere and hit you with everything it has right in your solar plexus. It might knock the wind out of you. But that's when I want you to get back up, gather yourself, and say to life, life, you may knock me down, but I'm telling you, it will never keep me down, because I'm a comeback kid. And that's the kind of attitude I think we need right now. We need a comeback attitude. We need a positive attitude. That's why I started having these jolly good news reports on Saturday morning to give you some good news in this time of nothing but bad news and sad news and depressing news. No, you need some good news because good news is good for your spirit, as the Bible says in Proverbs 15. And it encourages you and it gives you some uplift because we all need uplift. We need encouragement. We need inspiration. We need information that lifts our spirits. So let's see what I got good news for you today. Ooh, this week, good news. Coronavirus, good news. What? This week, the coronavirus. I'm not going to tell you, you go to the news, they tell you how many people are infected. And I'm not going to mention that. They tell you how many people did not make it. I'm definitely not going to tell you that. I'm going to focus on how many people recovered. And this week, milestone, over 1 million people, over 100 million, 100,000 people recovered. Wow. 1.1 million people recovered. That is great. It's been getting even further. When we started this statistical analysis, it was about 7,000 people globally a day who were getting recovered. Then it went up to 10,000. Now it's over 20,000 people per day are recovering from this virus and are beating it. I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. I also got some other good news this week. I got a call from my friend Lamar McLean. I think I mentioned him about 3 weeks ago. Pastor friend. He's a great orator. Just great. Well, he had been diagnosed with cancer, and I reached out to him. And some months ago, before the crisis, I went to visit him, and we've stayed in touch. Where he told me he not only one is had his last treatment, two that the doctors say he looks good, but three, he's back to work. He's back to work every day. I said, what good news. So I'm grateful for that good news. Now, for those who are just joining us and you want to know what we've been talking about, we've been talking every week for the last, let's see, this is our 7th week. 7 weeks. I've been doing this Jolly Good News Report Saturday mornings. And I want to thank all of you who have told your friends and your family members, your coworkers, hey, you got to go check out Dr. Willie Jolley's Good News Report Saturday morning. It will lift your spirits. And so I'm just excited about all of you who have become part of our community by getting the word from somebody else. That's why we're doing it, just to encourage people. And so the first week, what we did, we talked about Viktor Frankl, the Austrian neurologist who in 1942 had a thriving business. One night the Nazis came and took him and his family from his home, took him to concentration camps. And over the next 3 years, he was in 3 different concentration camps. In those 3 years, his wife was killed, his parents were killed, his siblings were killed, and they took everything he had, his business, everything. But he said there's one thing you cannot take from anybody. That's the last human freedom. The choice, the freedom to choose your attitude in any given set of circumstances that you can control. And that's what I want to say to you. As we go through this coronavirus crisis, the one thing you can take control of is your attitude. I choose every day to wake up and be grateful. I choose every day to give God glory. I choose every day to say, this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. And I choose to do my chant every day. Hey, 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 hey. Y'all ready for the chant? Y'all ready? Yeah. So many people said, I love that chant you did last week. And that affirmation, I told them my staff and we do it every morning. We have been doing it and we keep doing it. I'm going to do it with you. Now, just repeat after me. Now, I always tell people, you got to stand up to get the full effect of this because they got to get this thing moving and grooving in your life. So here we go. Here we go. I'm healthy. I'm wealthy. I'm happy. I am whole. I feel terrific. I am blessed and highly favored. This is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. And I pray, send prosperity today. Millions on the way today. All right, now let's say with power and conviction. You ready? I'm healthy. I am wealthy. I am happy. I am whole. I feel terrific. I am blessed and highly favored. This is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice. I'm going to rejoice. I got to rejoice and be glad in it. And I pray, declare, decree, believe, prosperity, millions are on the way today. And I'm going to do all I can to help it come this way so I can be a blessing to not just me, but to lots of other people. Amen. All right, all right, all right. Fantastic, 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 fantastic. Whoo, 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 whoo. Well, I'm excited about that. So look, every day we do that chant, and we get my team. We all get fired up because it makes a difference, and I hope it will make a difference in your life as well. So let's get fired up today about what we're going to do and talk about today. We did Viktor Frankl. We did our chant. The second week we talked about the statistics. At that point, it was 10,000 people per day recovering, and how the mindset. That's when I talked about Lamar McLean and how he said it's like a gladiator. Now this is seventh week. Over a month ago, he was still in the fight, but he said something. I love this quote. He said, when you're fighting cancer or any other major disease, it's like two gladiators in the arena back in the Roman days, and it was always a fight to the death. He said, when I got diagnosed with cancer, I made up my mind. I'm in the gladiator in the ring, in the arena, and it's a fight to the death. One of us has to die. And it's not going to be me. Cancer got to die. He said, cancer got to die. And he has been able, because of that attitude, been able to make that happen. And then we talked about my friend, the next week, we talked about Debbie Spanvini, who I had interviewed on my XM show. In fact, excuse me, I ask everybody who has somebody who's going through cancer to go to my jollygoodnews.org site, jollygoodnews.org site, and look for the Cancer Survivors and Thrivers interview. Debbie's one of the people I interviewed, and Herb Tillery. Both were diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. She had pancreatic cancer, stage 4, and he had throat cancer, stage 4. And they talked about how their attitude made the difference beyond the medication. The doctors, in fact, Debbie said the doctors gave her okay chance, but she said she made up her mind she was going to survive and thrive and win. Well, she did. That's been 14 years ago. She's been 14 years cancer free because of her mindset. You got to hear this interview. It is wonderful. It will bless you. It will encourage you. So that was third week. The fourth week, we talked about how you must not panic, pivot. Not panic, pivot, move now in a new direction. And I talked about my daughter and how, as a cosmetologist, her business got shut down with the virus, but she could cook. And now she is making money cooking meals for people who don't want to cook. They order on Facebook. She cooks a big batch of food. They order on Facebook. She puts it in a box. They pay her via Cash App on her phone, and then she has somebody take it to their home. When they get there, they leave the food at the front door. And call a person or text them and say your food's there. Wow! Don't panic. Pivot. This is a time to think of new ways to create new business opportunities, which I'm gonna talk to you about a little more later in this show. And then talked about my daily routine and 40 days of quarantine. My daily routine regularly is the same as I do in quarantine because I work from home, but it is the mindset that every day I wake up, my eyes open up and I say, thank you. I roll out of bed and I fall on my knees and thank God for the day, and I pray for my family. Then I go to the bathroom, come back, and then I get some sort of activity, some sort of movement. Then I listen to my daily show on the Get Up Morning with Erica Campbell. Every morning I listen to myself. I do that at 8:20 Eastern Time, 7:20 Central Time on the Praise Network on Radio 1. Here in Washington, Praise 104.1, but it's all over the country. And then after I listen to my message, then I get ready to go in the office. We do our chant, and then I go to work, and we're working all the way up until 6 o'clock. And then we do a closing day meeting and get our what we achieved that day. And one of the things we do every day, we check. Did you get that done? Yes. Did you get that done? Yes. Did you get that done? Yes. So that's our daily routine. And then we talked about the quarantine and the good things that can come out of a 40-day quarantine. Quarantine was by its nature, the Latin word is 40 days set aside for people who were infected to make sure that they were okay and get them past it. Well, out of those times, we learned that 40 days can be a powerful, great time. Moses was on Mount Sinai for 40 days. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Noah was on that boat for 40 days. Jesus was in the wilderness for 40 days. Lent is 40 days. You can do a lot in 40 days. I told you in these last 40 days, I've learned how to cook. Can you believe it? I tell some people they can't believe it. Oh my God. Yep. And I had the best, oh, teriyaki, glazed, pan seared salmon I cooked. I just followed the recipe and it was wonderful. Oh, ah, ah. So I've learned how to cook. What a great new experience for me. Been working on my piano, playing the piano. Have you seen my video? We'll get through this. Go check it out at winwithwillie.com or on my YouTube channel. I did that through this isolation. I learned to do my own video recording so that we could record a music video that's now blowing up around the world. Les Brown called me, and he continued to call me and say, I've seen a lot of work you've done over the years. I have never seen anything of this magnitude. It has me crying every time I see it. I watch it in the morning, watch it in the evening. He said, I play it every day for my Lunch with Les Facebook program that he does on Facebook Live. I tell people they've got to make sure to share this because it encourages people. Lamar McLean called me, and the one who I talked about in the Gladiator. He said, when the man at the end, the Asian man, is feeding his sick wife, he said, I was crying like a baby. It just touched me so. That scene in the video. Go watch it, winwithwillie.com. So last week we talked about the story of Elisha and the widow woman, her two sons, and the lesson we learned from that, which is that she had her husband who died, left her with nothing, and he had debts. So the debtor was coming to get her two sons and take them off to slavery. She asked Elisha, the prophet Elijah, to help. He said, what do you have in your house? She said, I have nothing. I got nothing. Got no money, got nothing. Nothing. He said, nothing but a little bit of oil. He said, okay, go get pots and pans and good jars and so forth from all your friends and neighbors, and then come back in, close the door behind you, you and your two sons, and start pouring the oil. And they poured oil, and he prayed on it, and the oil just kept flowing, flowing, and flowing until they filled up all the pots and pans and jars and jugs they had. And when they said, we don't have any more, it stopped flowing. He said, now, take all of this oil and sell it. You got to go to work. You got to do some work. I'm not going to just give you the money. I've given you the opportunity. Now, go to work, sell it, pay off the debt, and live on the rest. And the lesson in that is that God will bless you often. Sometimes he'll bless you with moving a mountain. Sometimes he'll give you the strength to climb the mountain. And so here's what we're in a mountain climbing mode right now. We've got to think differently. We've got to be optimistic. We've got to be positive and look for the opportunities. They're all around. I was on a Zoom call last night with my friend Jeffrey Hazlett, and there was a man on who said, I went to work at another level during this coronavirus crisis. And my business is up 20% because I decided I was not going to let this stop me. I set my goals and I just had to think of new ways to get there. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to think new ways. Now, let me tell you some real good news today. Good news, I told you we got over 1 million people have recovered so far, and that's good news. I want to tell you a story, good news about Captain Tom Moore. He was born April 30th, 1920. What? So that means this week he turned 100 years old. Now, during his 99th year, when he was at the age of 99, on April the 6th, he decided to make a difference in the world of other people. He's a former British officer, and he decided he was going to raise money. His goal was just £1,000 by his 100th birthday, and he was going to do it. He walks with a walker. He said, in my "I will walk laps in my garden to raise money." And he started doing it at 99 with his walker. People were so moved when they saw it on television that they started a fundraising campaign. And he raised over, in a 24-day course of his fundraising, media appearances, and even a song, he raised over 1.5 million individual donations, and that surpassed 30 million pounds. 30 million pounds was raised by him by his birthday, and last count it was at 33 million pounds. Wow. He received over 150,000 birthday cards that are kept in a big gymnasium, all his cards. And last week he was the oldest person to have a #1 hit record, because one of the musicians in London took him, interviewed him, and sliced in some of his words. He became part of the record. The record hit #1 in Britain. It's called "You'll Never Walk Alone," and he became the #1 oldest person ever to hit #1 on record. What good news. I'm saying to you, I know it's been challenging. I know it's been difficult, but this is a time for some good news. So today we want to talk about a story today about good news. And I love Bible stories, but there's so many good news stories in the good news. And jolly good news. Today I want to tell you about the story of David and Goliath. Now, you might have known about David and Goliath. You know, he took a slingshot and took a stone and killed a giant. But here's what was good news. David was tending his sheep. His father said that, "I want you to take some bread and cheese to your brothers at the battlefield where the Israelites are fighting the Philistines." And there's this Philistine there who's talking a lot of junk about the Israelis and the Israelites. David goes, take the stones to his brothers. And while he's there, he overhears somebody say, "Whoever kills this guy is going to get all sorts of the rewards." Well, and David said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Whoever kills this guy, the king is going to take good care of him and his family, and going to give him money and give him his daughter hand in marriage and all sorts of stuff." Said he's just going to hook up that family if somebody can kill this. He said, "Really?" He said, "Well, I could kill this guy." They said, "You've never even had a big fight in your life." He said, "I killed a lion, I killed a bear. I ain't scared of this guy." And so finally he talked him into giving him a shot to go out. And when Goliath saw this little puny guy, Peach Fuzz, he laughed and said, "What in the world? I'm going to." And David said, "Come on, come on." And he took out his slingshot, and Goliath started coming to him, and David ran up to him and bam! Hit him smack dab in the middle of his forehead, and Goliath fell bam and won the battle. And as a result of that, his family was positioned. See, we're going to have to take action. We're going to have to be courageous. And that's what I want to say to everybody from that story. I know you know the story, but you didn't know that there were benefits. There are benefits if you are courageous. There are benefits if you take action. There are benefits if you win. So some of you got independent activities, you got entrepreneurial activities, but you're fearful because you don't know how to do it. Well, sit down with a pad and a piece of paper. And here's what I do often. I take a pad and I start out with I got millions of pads around here, but I take a pad and I write my goals. And then I write a list of how am I going to achieve this? What's the goal? The goal is X. Wow. Okay, now that I know the goal is X, how, and I write it to the top, how can I achieve X in the midst of this crisis? Not if I can achieve or can I achieve. No, because if you say, can I achieve X in the middle of this crisis, your mind has been conditioned and programmed that no, you can't. Don't even try. But if you say, how can I achieve X in the midst of this crisis? And your mind changes direction. It's not always what you're doing, is how you're asking the question. How can I achieve X in the midst of this crisis? Hmm. Maybe I could try this. Maybe I could try that. Hmm. Maybe I could try that. And you write everything you can think. Let me tell you why that's so powerful and why the word maybe is so powerful. Let me tell you how your brain works. Brain analysts and brain scientists have said that all you need to succeed in life is a maybe. Just a maybe. That gives you enough of a possibility to go get it done or give it a shot. And Dennis Kimbrough, my dear friend, said that statistics show that we achieve about 90+%, a little over 90% of what we will increasingly and adamantly attempt. So if you attempt it with great confidence, you keep trying, you achieve most of it. Think about the things you had to achieve and it didn't work the first. Oh, well, let me try. Most of the things you adamantly attempt and keep trying, you will achieve. So if you get a maybe, that's all you need is a maybe. You don't have to have a definitely, just a maybe. Then you will attempt more. And yet, if you have a not possible, you will not try wholeheartedly. So I want you to take out your goal sheet. If you've not done your goals, shame on you. Shame on you. Because great achievers write goals. That is true. So if you don't know how to write goals, most people don't achieve goals because they don't know how to write goals, or they don't have a coach to help them write goals, or they are afraid to write goals. Then you need help. Go to williejolly.com/win, williejolly.com/win, and just sign up and get register and purchase my goal setting seminar that we did in January. It's 4 hours, a great tool to use while you're here in isolation. Take a day to do it with your family. Y'all all watch that session, go through the exercises. I'll give you an example. Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur sales coach, called me this week and said, man, thank you. I said, what? Thank you, man. I said, what are you thanking me for? He said, thank you for the goal setting seminar. I watched it and went over it and wrote my goals. And one of the goals has come true. It was a big goal. I didn't even know was possible. But you told me just to try it and get a maybe. Well, look, it has happened because you pushed me. Go to williejolly.com/win, WIN, do the goal setting seminar, and it will have a profound impact. So this week, you learn from David and Goliath that David was motivated. There were lots of benefits from him taking a chance and giving it a shot. And he won. And the world was different because it was not there long after, some years after, but what he put him in a position where he became King David. And so there's some royalty waiting to happen because you watched a Saturday morning message about the benefits for your taking a chance, having a maybe mindset, getting some courage. I'm encouraging you. Take this courage I'm giving to you. Encouraging is to give you courage. I'm pushing and pushing courage on you. Go now. Come on. Go get it. This is yours. You're supposed to be successful. You're supposed to be wealthy. You're supposed to make a difference in people's lives. You're supposed to give your church a big six-figure tithe check. You're supposed to do it. Go ahead. You were born to do it. You were made for great things. You were designed for great things. You were engineered by God Almighty to do great things. Go get it. Go make it happen. Be encouraged. You do that, I'm telling you, it's going to be great. This coronavirus, we will get through it. It too will pass. It's been rough. It's been tough. But if you do the things we talked about and we stay focused on it, you will win. And in winning, you will grow and you will be prepared better for the next crisis. Because as I told you one of the earlier weeks, every decade we've seen a crisis. So we must say that, there's some things consistent in history. 9/11, crisis of economic downturn 2008, and now we got this. Just live long enough, you're going to see some crises. So if you prepare for them, you're better positioned to win in the midst of them. Look, my time is up. I want to thank you for yours. What a great day. How did you enjoy it? Send me an email. Say, I really liked that today. That message was right on. Or some sort of note. I'm encouraged by your messages because my goal here is to help you live your dream and get through these tough times. Remember, your best is yet to come. God bless you. Have a great day on purpose, a great week on purpose. I'll see you next Saturday morning, God willing, with another edition of the Jolly Good News Report. This is Dr. Willie Jolley, author of the book, A Setback is a Setup for a Comeback. If you don't have that, get one of those. It will bless you because the best is yet to come. Over and out. See ya.